Poland just called on the alliance to shut down Russian drones right over Ukraine. Romania raises the alarm as Moscow violated NATO airspace again. The message from Eastern Europe is clear: enough is enough. How long will NATO watch from the sidelines while Russia pokes the bear? And what happens when the bear finally roars back? Welcome to Ukraine Today. I'm Zoroslava Kolesnikova, and right now NATO is being tested like never before. Stay tuned, this episode has the answers. Ukraine is teaching us now. Poland urges NATO to shut down Russian drones over Ukraine, warns of looming war. Poland just made a bold call to NATO: intercept Russian drones and missiles directly over Ukraine. Foreign Minister Radoslav Sikorski says NATO must take action now, not just to protect the sky, but to learn from Ukraine's unmatched air defense skills.
We must think about it. Technically, NATO and the EU can do this, but Poland can't decide alone. This must be done with our allies.
He made it clear.
Ukraine is far ahead of us when it comes to drone defense. We are no longer training them. They are training us.
Why now? This push follows a dangerous escalation on September 10th, when 19 Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace during a massive attack on Ukraine. For the first time since the start of the war, NATO fighter jets were launched to intercept. Polish forces later found 17 Russian reconnaissance drone crashes inside their territory. Prime Minister Donald Tusk didn't miss words.
A line has been crossed. We are closer to war than at any time since World War II.
Meanwhile, Moscow called Poland's proposal reckless and claimed it had no intention to escalate, but Warsaw isn't buying it. On top of that, Sikorski warned about Russia's shadow fleet in the Baltic Sea, calling for joint NATO monitoring of ship movements.
If even one of these ships, like those already sunk in the Azov Sea, goes down in the Baltic, we will face an environmental disaster of unprecedented scale.
Bottom line, Poland wants NATO to act, not just to protect but to prepare, because the war is already crossing borders. For Ukraine, this would be called a 100% success. Polish Foreign Minister praises air defense, admits Kyiv knows better. Russia just tested NATO's nerves, and Poland says it passed the exam. After Russian drones pierced deep into Polish airspace, Foreign Minister Radoslav Sikorski dropped a bold take. This wasn't an attack, it was a probe.
They were empty. That tells me Russia was testing us without starting a full-scale war.
Of 19 drones, only 3-4 were shot down. Some flew hundreds of kilometers across Poland. Critics slammed the response, but Sikorski clapped back.
No targets hit. Minimal damage, 0 casualties. If this had happened in Ukraine, they'd call it a 100% success.
Still, he admitted one thing: Ukraine's air defense game is stronger.
Ukrainians have better anti-drone tech, and they've been fighting Russians every day. They know more than we do.
That's why Polish units will now train with Ukrainian drone hunters, learning the tactics that have kept Ukraine standing. Sikorski's final warning to the West:
It's Ukrainians who should be teaching Europe and America how to fight Russia, not the other way around.
The battlefield is changing, and Kyiv is leading the class.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
How many times can Russia cross NATO's red lines before the alliance hits back? Another Russian drone violated NATO airspace, this time in Romania. And this isn't just a glitch, it's a pattern. concern. From Poland to Romania, Moscow keeps pushing the limits, telling the West to react. Romania isn't staying silent. NATO jets are already patrolling the skies and forces along the eastern flank are on high alert. But the big question remains, will the West finally respond with the strength this moment demands? Or is the Kremlin strategy of slow provocation working, one drone at a time? Full breakdown in our report.
Due to the growing Russian threat, Poland is accelerating military training for its population. In just the first 7 months of this year, 20,000 people have signed up for voluntary training. According to the Ministry of Defense's forecasts, by the end of the year, the number of trained individuals could double and reach 40,000. The military budget is also increasing, from 2.2% of GDP in 2022 to a record 4.7% in 2025. This is the highest figure in NATO, surpassing even Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. As Reuters notes, the widespread willingness of Poles to go to training grounds is a direct reflection of the fear of possible aggression from Moscow and the society's determination to meet it fully armed.
I always say that I will do everything to protect my child. I will fight with all my strength and determination, right up to the very end, to protect him.
I am the eldest of my 3 siblings, so I feel the need to protect my family just as our ancestors once defended these lands. I feel a responsibility to continue this tradition if the need arises.
Warsaw's drive to strengthen its defense capabilities is no coincidence. On September 10th, 21 Russian drones violated Polish airspace, according to Marcin Przydacz, the president's advisor on international affairs. The response was immediate. NATO activated Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty, and in Poland itself, the large-scale NATO operation Eastern Sentinel was launched. And this is only the beginning. President Karol Nawrocki is heading to Berlin and Paris to personally discuss the incident with the Russian drones, according to the head of his office.
These are very important visits, which one could say are doubly significant in the context of the current geopolitical situation of the unprecedented drone attack and the violation of Polish airspace by Russian drones. This is a conversation with our allies, but it is also a broader conversation. Of course, military security and cooperation within NATO in order to respond to the Russian threat. Marcin Przydacz, advisor to the President of Poland on international affairs, in a comment to Polish radio.
The American side is convinced that if Russian UAVs were indeed intentionally flying toward Poland, then this is a step towards serious escalation on the part of the Kremlin. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also announced that Washington will hold consultations with its NATO partners.
Did you see how NATO responded to this appropriately? We do not want this to happen again. We consider this to be unacceptable, regrettable, and a dangerous development. I think it will take a few more days for everyone to fully get used to it. There is no doubt that the drones were launched intentionally. The question is whether these drones were specifically targeted at Poland. If that's the case, then obviously it would be a very escalatory step.
Russia does not stop its provocations in the airspace of NATO member countries. On the night of September 14th, a Russian drone flew over Romania. As stated by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the UAV penetrated 10 kilometers into the country and remained there for about an hour. The Romanian Air Force scrambled combat aircraft.
Romania condemns Russia's behavior and is taking the necessary measures to protect its sovereignty and security. We are in constant contact with our partners and allies in the EU and NATO regarding Russia's provocations, including the latest one. We must effectively raise the cost for Russia's blatantly illegal and provocative actions by promptly adopting the 19th package of sanctions and the full range of measures under NATO's Operation Eastern Shield. I will also raise the issue of Russia's actions at the UN General Assembly, calling for strict enforcement of sanctions at the international level. Oana Silvia Tsoiu, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Romania, on social network X.
In addition to unmanned aerial vehicles, the Kremlin also violates the airspace of NATO countries using its fighter jets. On September 13th, according to the Lithuanian army, Russian aircraft were flying with their radar transponders turned off and without flight plans. Because of this, NATO fighter jets were scrambled twice.
They were scrambled to observe and escort the Russian aircraft that violated the regulations. Both incidents were not related to the preventive measures in Poland due to drones, from a publication by Delphi.
Analysts emphasize the Russian Federation continues to test the North Atlantic bloc. For this purpose, Russia has likely transferred an Iskander missile system to the Kaliningrad region. In footage published online, Russian systems can be seen aimed toward Warsaw, as noted by open-source intelligence analysts. Such a deployment of weaponry could pose a threat to 6 NATO countries. Nikita Skoblikov for Freedom TV channel.
That's all for today on Ukraine Today. If you want the truth loud and clear, like, comment and subscribe to stay informed with us. And most importantly, become a sponsor and join our team. Your support helps us track every threat, expose every lie and defend Ukraine's voice on the global stage. Stay strong, stay informed and stay with Ukraine.